Hello friends, I hope you guys are doing well. If this is your first time, special welcome, and if you're coming back, so glad you're here. I got it in Zone 6B78 in Pennsylvania. Friends, I'm so excited to share this with you. So not sure if you saw when I did seeds using the winter sowing method, right? So I figured, why not compile a video with blooms from those plants I did using the winter sowing method. So here's this echinacea. This one I did last year, and I remember when I did this echinacea, the seeds are from other seeds I have in the garden over there. When I did this echinacea, friends, I did it and there was some snapdragons in there, and I remember when I planted it here, and I'll show you, snapdragons were connected with the echinacea, and I'm like, you know what, they're gonna fight and whoever is the strongest will survive. So look at this. So friends, right down in here is the snapdragon. But this is small. It did bloom, and I figure what's going on here. It looks like there's two plants in here, but I remember the little seedlings from that made it in the winter sow method, and I just put a clump of them here, and look what it looks like. It's so pretty, right? So this is the second year, and friends, you know what happened? It actually bloomed last year. It bloomed very late fall, while the other echinaceas looked like they were on their last leg. This guy over here was blooming so strong. I'm like, wow, I thought it was different, right? So here it is. So I strongly recommend you do echinacea using the winter sowing method. You will get blooms the same year, okay? Very easy to do, and the pollinators love echinacea. And what I do, friends, for the pollinators, I leave these up like this in the fall, and then they become all dried, right? So it forms this cone head, and the birds love them. The goldfinches love them. That provide winter source food for the birds in the winter when the berries and they can't find any food source around in the winter. So if you have echinacea or you're gonna grow echinacea, make sure you leave them up like this in the winter period. Or if you want to leave some, just help out the birds in the winter period. But anyway, so strongly recommend echinacea. Look at this. I'm telling you, I'm in love. Amazing, absolutely gorgeous. Alrighty, so let's go around and see what else we did using the winter sowing method. Let's go over to the flamingo garden bed. Alright friends, so this is the flamingo garden bed. So the plant over here I did using the winter sowing method is this. My first time with it. This is the rose mallow. I think it's an annual, but we'll see. I did the white. I think I got the white seeds from Etsy, and the pink I think I got from Lowe's. And I did the white and the pink. Strangely, some of the pink already bloomed. I'll take you in the front and show you what they look like. But this one, it's just started to give out the buds, right? It's not weird that some already bloomed and drying and making seeds, and this one is fresh looking. But look at this, friends. This is absolutely gorgeous rose mallow. It belongs in the hibiscus family, but I think this one is an annual. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen for you. But I just love this, friends. Absolutely gorgeous. It's so beautiful. Alrighty, let me keep going around and see what else I can find that I did using the winter sowing method. Alright friends, a lot of plants I did using the winter sowing method. I did a lot of the butterfly milkweed. It's already spent bloom. I'll put a picture on the screen for you. And these are the seed pods it creates, but they're not ready. They will be ready in late fall, and you wouldn't know because the pod will become dry looking and you would see like cotonou peeping out. The cotonou is simply the seed heads. And I told you guys before in another video what I do, like in fall, I will put a rubber band around it so when the pod bursts open, the seeds do not fly all over the place. Yes, that's how I contain the seeds, and I'll just pick it and take it inside. This is so easy to do using the winter sowing method. Strongly recommend. Butterfly milkweed, great for the hummingbirds, the birds, the bees, the butterfly, of course, that helps out the monarch, right? This is the hummingbird garden bed, so I tucked a lot of them in here. I just love them so much. Alrighty friends, and come on over here. Here is this delphinium. Look at that. I have a couple of them sprinkled through the garden. I'm thinking Next year it will be bigger and stronger. With delphiniums, the slugs love to eat them just like a lupine, so something to keep in mind. So I'm so happy I have blooms on here, friends. Look at that. Just loving it. Here's another rose mallow. Yep, this is another one from the Winter Sowing method. Love it. And then I have some bee balm in here, but they're not blooming as yet. Right over here. And also, friends, using the Winter Sowing method, I started these beautiful coreopsis. I purchased this plant last year from a local private nursery, and I had it by my fountain area, which I think was not the best place to put it. So I dug it out and I just took seeds from it and I just planted all over the garden. It's very whimsical looking. Look at it. It's really pretty though, and I just love it over here in the pollinator garden bed. Love it. So this one, coreopsis, oh my goodness, I got a lot of seedlings from it that I shared with my sweet friend up the road. Very easy to do in the Winter Sowing method. Absolutely easy and gorgeous. And it's the next day, and let me show you the delphinium. They're opening. Look at that. So all these three guys were done using the Winter Sowing method. Just love them, friends. Absolutely love them. And over here, friends, here's the butterfly milkweed I was telling you guys about. This is what the blooms look like. Still blooming. Look at that. I'm telling you, I have a ton of these all over the garden. Look at the seed heads on there. You cannot have enough of the butterfly milkweed in your garden. Be careful with the common milkweed because that one spreads. To keep in mind, if you want a milkweed, get the butterfly milkweed. This I got from Tulip World years ago. Well, I say years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and I've just been reusing the seeds and just creating more plants. So butterfly milkweed is the one you want, not the common milkweed, unless you don't care it's spreading in your garden. All right, let's go on over here. Oh, and friends, also these guys are from the Winter Sowing method. These echinacea, I just did seeds I had from my existing plants. So all these were done using the Winter Sowing method. I don't start echinacea inside the house at all. I put them in the milk jug, how I show you, and I put them outside and let they germinate throughout the cold period. And then I get nice small seedlings and I just put them in the ground. That's what I do. So I recommend, I'm not saying you can't start echinacea from inside, but I'm just telling you, save yourself time and just put it outside. All you have to do with the Winter Sowing method is just keep the soil moist. That's it. Keep it moist, put it where it's not on a covered porch, it's exposed to the sun and the elements of nature, and keep the soil moist. That's it, friends, and you'll get a lot of plants to create such a beautiful garden. So all these echinaceas in here, these were seeds from existing plants using the Winter Sowing method, and they just got bigger. I'm telling you, these plants got bigger this year. All right, friends, and here's another butterfly milkweed. See, I told you I have a lot of them, and there's even one down in there too. I have a lot of them in the garden here. All right, friends, let's go to the front and see what else I can share with you. Try not to miss any. All right, and come on over here. This is the aster. Oh my goodness, look at this aster, friends. So I did the white aster. I think those seeds were from Southern Seeds also. I love that company. My first time, and I really love the seed selections they have, and the customer service is amazing. So this is an aster, yes, and these supposed to be the white ones, and I did the colored ones too. They're somewhere else in the garden here, but I remember doing just the white because I love white cut flowers in my bouquet. But look at this plant. Just look at that. I don't know if this one is a perennial or it's an annual. We'll see, but I think the other one is over there. I think I see it over there. I think the one is a colored one, but look at the blooms on here. Just love it. And I did carnation too, and I don't know where it is. I did carnation in the Winter Sowing method. This is a cut flower garden, so I have a ton of cut flower plants in here. And right here, do you see this? I just added some zinnias seeds in there. So the white rock is me telling myself I planted something there and not go dig around and put other seeds or seedlings in there. Look at that. Can't wait for this to come up. Let me show you. Here it is. This is another aster. This might be the colored one. Here's one here, And here's another one here. I think they may be the colored ones, I'm not sure, we'll see. And over here in the winter sowing method, friends, I did forget me not. This one is the Chinese, because I've had people say this is not forget me not, it's supposed to be smaller, but there's different kinds. You have the regular ones, which I think is shorter, and this one is the Chinese forget me not. It's so pretty. I just love it, and I love the foliage on it too. Beautiful blue flowers. And also I did a lot of snapdragon seeds too. Look at this guy here in the winter sowing method. Those are really easy to do. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Just love it. All right, friends, so we're in a cut flower garden, and here it is. I wanted to show this to you. I did the sunrise or sunset gomphrena from seeds using the winter sowing method. Here it is, so pretty. I definitely going to do more of these. This is really gorgeous. Just love it. And the blooms, I think, look just like the picture. Love these, friends. And I have another one I put over here, and I don't know what's going on with this one. This one is falling over. I think it just broke. You see how big? That's one plant, and it's spread out. I did not know gomphrena spread out like this, but nevertheless, I just love these. So next year I'll be doing more of these guys, and then not just these, but this one. I just love the blooms on here. I think I'm just gonna break this off and take it inside. But yeah, definitely easy to do in the winter sowing method. All right, friends, let's go on to the front and see what else I did using the winter sowing method. All right, friends, welcome to the front of the yard. So in front of us we have the beautiful Fiesta Time hollyhock. Oh my goodness. So yes, I did this from seeds using the winter sowing method. These seeds from Baker Creek, friends. So they're supposed to get 3 feet tall, and I love that I did not have to wait until the second year to get blooms. It said this blooms the first year, which it did, right? I think in person it's more beautiful than the picture on the website. This is gorgeous. Let me take you around and show you more. So normally with your hollyhock, I think they're biennials, so they take the second year they will bloom for you. But these ones, friends, these are the first year, and I strongly recommend these. They're upright. I do not have to stake this, and thanks to my friend Mark, who always telling me you need vertical interest in your garden. Yeah, so I listened to my friend Mark, and I got some hollyhock and I did them from seeds. So thank you, Mark, I do listen to you. Here we are, friends. So look at that. Isn't this beautiful? I don't know if you can eat it. I don't think you can, but it just looks like a candy. Oh my goodness, I just can't stop staring at this. I even went on the website and they have other ones, but this one, the seeds are out of stock, so you just have to keep checking, right? But strongly recommend using the winter sowing method when you do a lot of your seeds, as I am showing the blooms here, friends. Absolutely gorgeous, and the pollinators love it. Look at that. It's upright and you don't have to stake it. My sweet neighbor friend up the road, she has the yellow hollyhock, friends. They're like 10 feet tall. She doesn't stake it, but it goes all the way up to the top and it curves over. It's really cute looking. It's whimsical. She did give me some seeds, so I'm gonna do some in the winter sowing method, and I even started some now to see if I would get any germination from them. So strongly recommend hollyhock for a winter sowing method, and not just hollyhock, but this one in person, Fiesta Time from Baker Creek. Just love it. And then look at this, friends. I have another one here just staring at me. And friends, this was only one plant, okay? Just one plant. I don't know what happened there. That's 2 plants there. But when I planted this, friends, it was just one plant. I just love it. And yes, it's a perennial, so it will return for me. Just look at that, friends. Absolutely gorgeous. I just can't stop looking at it. All right, friends, and also in the winter sowing method, I did Cleome. These are the poplar ones. They took a while before they kicked off, so to speak, or they was just sitting there. But I think when it got warmer, the seeds started to germinate in the plastic container. But I absolutely love these guys. Look at them. And this again, this one is one plant. And when you go all the way down there, see that? So with the Cleome, friends, it branches out, right? One of bloom heads on here. Look, one there, one there. It just branches out, and this will get, I would say, maybe 6 feet tall as the one in the back, and you do not have to stake these. That's what I love about Cleome. They're upright, firm. You don't have to stake them. They bloom all the way into the first frost, as I told you before, and they come in all different colors. So you saw the pink and the white, which I did from seeds in the garden last year. I started inside, I should say, and that was from last year. But these ones, I put them in the winter sowing method, and just look at them. Absolutely gorgeous. I just love Cleomes. So give them a try, and they're easy to start from inside too, and also in the winter sowing method. And over here next to the hollyhock, here's another one I did. This is the purple. It's beautiful. Just love them, friends. As I said, these will give me colors continuously all the way until the first frost hits them. I'm just loving this. Just look at that, friends. This is gorgeous, isn't it? And look at the backdrop. Oh, beautiful gladiolus. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. The front garden is looking absolutely gorgeous. And then come on over here, let me show you what else I did using the winter sowing method. I'm making sure I cover all the seeds. And here's this one. This is vervain. I think this is related to the verbena. I'll show you the verbena. This I got from Etsy, the seeds, and it's supposed to be a native plant, and I think I got the white too. I don't remember. So that's why I got it, because it's supposed to be native, and it's a great pollinator attractor. And this is a perennial, friends. Yep. So that too took a while before it did anything for me, but you can see it's blooming here. Remember I was telling you about the rose mallow? I had pink and I had white. Here's one of them here. I can't believe this one already becomes spent bloom. So I'm thinking it's an annual. You see what they're looking like? But in here, I think that's the seeds. So I'm gonna be harvesting more seeds from them and do a lot more of these. I just love them, and they bloom different times. I don't know what's going on. This already bloomed. The one in the back you saw just started to bloom, so not sure what's going on there. And then over here, here's another vervain. Look at that, friends. Beautiful. Great native plant. Just love it. Absolutely gorgeous. And then over here we have the verbena I told you about. And here's another Cleome I did using the winter sowing method. But here's a, see, look at this, friends. Look at the bee on here. I love it. All right, I'm leaving it alone. But this is another one which was easy to do using the winter sowing method. And these seeds I think I got from Southern Seeds. I think I got these ones from there. But look how whimsical it looks, and it doesn't take up much space in the garden at all. Just look at that. Very airy, very whimsical, absolutely gorgeous. Let's go over to the pollinator garden bed, and let me see if I could find any other seeds I did using the winter sowing method. All right, friends, welcome to the pollinator garden bed, and we have more of those verbena using the winter sowing method. And here's one in here, and you see it just does this whimsical thing. It's just so pretty. And also I just remember I did lupines, but they already bloomed already. I did several lupines, sorry, using the winter sowing method. And let me go over here and show you. I think this one was the year before. This was purple. And there's one in the back here. This was from last year, I think. But let me show you one I did with you this year. And with your lupine friends, now is a perfect time to start them, because they will bloom for you next year once you start them. Now I've started them the same current year and got blooms within the same year. So here's one. Where is it? Here you go. Here's this one. This one I did with you 2025. Yeah, so next year this is going to bulk up and get really big for me. Very excited about that. So if you have any lupine seeds lying around, friends, start them now. I got some pink lupine from my sweet neighbor friend up the road, and I started them already, so that way they will bulk up, and next year I'll have a nice big thick lupine. Here's this one. This one we did in the 2025 winter sowing method. Look at that. See that? That's exactly my point. Get them started now, friends, so next year they will bulk up and look big for you. Keep in mind that the slugs love lupine, so just keep in mind wherever you decide to put them, and keep your eyes on your lupine, otherwise the slugs will eat. Okay, they will devour your entire plant. And here friends, these are the seeds I told you I have, the lupine, the pink ones. I have them in here, so by the end of summer, early fall, I should have a nice big bulky looking plant that I can put in the garden, and then it will just establish its roots, and then next year I'll have a nice thick full looking lupine with nice beautiful blooms. So just something to keep in mind. If you want lupines in your garden, now's the perfect time to start them, and I recommend starting them like this where you have it in a controlled setting from the slugs, because if I put this like this in the garden friends, the slugs, they're just gonna eat my foliage. So just keep them like this so the slugs don't get to them. When they're bigger, they normally leave them alone. So just a side tip there for you friends. Alright friends, I just wanted to go around the garden and share with you seeds I did using the winter sowing method, so you can actually see it, and not just me showing you how to do it, but actually showing the result. Not the result from the winter sowing itself, but the result from seed to winter sowing to blooms in the garden. Yes, I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got some inspiration, and you know you can do this. Okay, you can do this. As I said to you, with the winter sowing method, you just have to make sure you keep the soil moist and keep the jugs exposed to the elements of nature, the sun, the snow, the rain. You need to do, and don't let the seed dry out. That's all you need to do when you do the winter sowing method. So I'm thinking, what am I gonna do? So I'll do some more research and see what other plants out there that I like, and definitely use the winter sowing method when I order my seeds. But if you haven't seen my winter sowing videos, go on my channel page, type in winter sowing, and you'll see all different winter sowing videos I made just for you guys, and get some inspiration. Start planning what you want to do, what seeds you want to purchase, what plants you want to add to your garden, you know what I mean? So think about that. I know it sounds like, okay, it's early, it's summer, what are you talking about? But just think about that as your garden is blooming and your garden is in the midst of the blooms. You can look around and see, oh, I could do well with different color, or balance it out with this other color. So now is the perfect time to look at your garden and reassess what you think you want in your garden, or what you think you need to take away, and plan ahead. As I said to you, you can curate a beautiful garden on clearance plants and also seeds. Okay, you don't have to spend $30 for a plant to curate that beautiful garden. Just keep that in mind. All right friends, so on this note, I'll leave you here with this beautiful gladiolus, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you planted using the winter sowing method and how it did for you, and what if you will plant it again, if it's an annual or if it's a perennial. Do you want more of it in your garden, or if there's a new plant you want to try? As I said, I have to go around and do some research and see what seeds they have out there on the websites, and see if I like this plant. Then I'll decide what I want to do after. All right friends, I'll see you guys in the next one. Now take care of yourselves as always. Cheers.